nipa no fakasi na omo hwe manim se ba but as usual maba anti maba de me mamu nyina na fi shapa yeah anti na no Obiri Boahen maba na like I said ba ya disuade wow we ba me platform we should be an yesuade ne ye sha adwene enya timdie enya kasantwi. And I can boldly say, sir, me platform we no there. Wunya bi wo Ghana. Metumi academy session no. Sir, me platform we there. Wunya bi e wo Ghana and beyond. Because the platform adisuande wo mpa. Wunya bi wo Ghana and beyond. And it's a platform if it's law, yes. If it is history, yes. If it is politics, yes. If it is chieftaincy, yes. So you continue. Real Nana Obiri Boahen. You share. You join me and watch share. Real Nana Obiri Boahen. TikTok, Real Nana Obiri Boahen. YouTube. And all the other facilities. Over join here. Now, my major concern today will be the discussion around Kokomba and Mamprisi Kusasi. Gladys entry major also the Mamprisi Kusasi and a topic be a year the last week Nana Utum for MFA report no ma President Mahama no meka say yehwe say President Mahama bitima implement ya ene de na Utum for MFA report no ko but say a other report na ko no the Mamprisi Kusasi issue so delicate, so complex, so intriguing, to the extent that another near Mekambiano, a Yamagin and Amechere. I will not take sides. I will never speak in favor of the Mamprisis. I will not speak in favor of the Kusasis. I will not speak in favor of the politician. I will never speak in favor of a historian. Because it's so dicey. And Bajumba Bia over out public. Now become one summer. A social castle we Bajumba Bia. Ubia when yefi, Ubia we Bajumba. Because Kusasi for 18 years beka. Sana Mamprisi for 18 years beka. One year careful, Kusasi will capitalize on it. 1 year careful, Mamprisi will capitalize. And then I will disappoint everybody. I will disappoint the MPP. I will disappoint the NDC. I will leave it to what would you me? What would you me? You draw your own conclusion. Ubisa Mr. Mamprisi for a mede. Mr. Menkasa. Ubisa Mr. Kusasi for a mede. Menkasa. But like I said, you better do for us. So why mediation? You better President Akufo-Addo do as why I say. Because he initiated it. You better President Mahama so I say. So no so buy no or no so my Otum for to us. So you better Mamprisi for us. So the two party. You better Kusasi for us. So they took part. Even though I've heard the Mamprisi for say this is mediation. We are not bound by it. Of course, in law, there's no question about that. In law, but me can say, but you and I knew. I'll not take size. It's so security implication. No, yeah, high. So I will just keep quiet. Let me take this opportunity. I mean, Nancy and Stefan from Canada, Abba, from Toronto. Minchia and Mame Dorothy. Akua Grace. Let me take this opportunity to do. Now me wish you more Toronto so there. Let me just because Chas student because Chas in Toronto. I mention. I just say why be joining you more official pa. In Toronto, me greet Amasewa. Eva also answer in Toronto. Let me greet Eva. When I get to the US, Isaac Askwadu, Isaac Obiri Boahen, let me greet him. Osebonso Prince, let me greet him. Lawyer Ochre Dakom, I also greet you. And then I'm for Bibri. So this Mampusi Kusasi conflict na by no otum for you can measure se memamo historical background kakra. Ethiopia iwasu neti. History has it said the first Bokunaba was 1721. And that from 1721 urban. Mampusi Saha. Now I've come across a write-up by a professor, I think it's a doctor, a reverend, a Kusasi. And in that write-up, now Ohache said the Kusasis came to settle there in 18 something. Whichever way, like I said, many preprija. So we will use the professor, not the Anokraha, 1721, 1820 something. Some Kusasis also say it's a professor no canon. Professor no Kusasi in your canon. And you know, let us accept it for whether you accept it or less for the purpose of this discussion. Now, Ebeja said by 1945, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. No, no. Na we are hene ewo bokoa. Ubesai ekire na yiri ewo na leringo. That one is an undeniable fact. Actually, I've not said somebody has ruled over Kusasis. I've said that it's an undeniable fact that Bokunaba, how will you take it, please? Get man from me. Now by 1945, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, no so. Now, Pusiga, Zebula, Warakambo, Teshi. And then coming in your allegiance to Bokunaba. No. Then your allegiance to Mam Nayiri. That is also undeniable fact. Now, so 54, in 1954, the Northern People's Party was formed. In 1954. I think to be precise, April 1954. Now, 1954, Northern People's Party was formed. And the woman who would do more cotton, Mamprusi for. Woman was sending more cotton pie at the Gumba for. Woman was sending more cotton pie and a walla for come. Woman would do more cotton pie and a dagati for come. Oma was sending my cotropa and Sesala Foka. And we have some Gonjes and Nanumbes. No, the Northern People's Party. Very strong, formidable political party. Born in April 1954. But the Gomba, any man Prusiphone, na woman nana edosomo. And I'm told that by October 1955, the Dambo Kunaba was a full-fledged member of the Northern People's Party. And they enjoyed the support. The Northern People's Party, was fat. Srohoning in the Danumba, Dagumba, Mamprusi, Wala, Dagati, Sisala, some Gunjas. But some of the Gunjas also, at a later time, by 1950-51, joined the CPP, which was formed in 1949. So these are the dynamics. We cannot be talking about these things without talking about the dynamics of history and politics. Then let's come back again. The secretary to the Nairi in 1954 was a staunch member of the Northern People's Party. Was a staunch member of the Northern People's Party. And that secretary was Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's father, Alhaji Bawumia. So by 1955, Alhaji Bawumia's father was a secretary to the Nairi. Alhaji Bawumia's father was a Mamprusi, secretary to the Nairi, and a leading member of the Northern People's Party. You have to know all these things. Why this problem? No, I don't know. Now, in 1946, 1948, UGCC forum, and Dr. Nkrumah Echo ran other than the secretary. Because CPP was formed in 1949. So when Dr. Nkrumah formed the CPP, at that time, the Northern People's Party had not been formed. At that time, the Northern People's Party had not been formed. Hey, sorry. Sorry. The Benyante Northern People's Party. And I'll come around on this is an oral tradition. But because I know I've been and Dr. Nkrumah name and Pussy for Kasa. But all right, but I say, what call Nalerungu no what CPP na I'm saying Nigeria no be say no say maybe o dem mpemfo bi no ba mo be ka ma asem ejuma wa tu na de eye de ne ba o de bebe anye ba be no ba first. And our tradition has it. And we agree, it's true. The Nairi told Dr. Nkrumah, Debbie. So I know more Akasakasabia, or the Ako, Nemen Fre Munina, Nemen Sesi Muntem, Munina, Moya Memma. On the Dr. Nkrumah, Nena Chita for no reception, and I demand your mother. So from there, Dr. Nkrumah said, "Yeah, or the no CPP no, or mobile Driano, the Kusasi more, and of course, I want the conference. Everybody same way. Then fast forward, CPP was born, 1949, and." CPP, after some elections, the UGCC and I so the Congress Party was formed. by JB Dankwa and Kofi Abdul. But then, when the Northern People's Party was formed, Omunya support to party Serena Meke. In April 1954, Northern People's Party was formed. In September 1954, the NLM, National Liberation Movement, was also formed. So by December 1954, na CPP Asia opposition tarepa. Na CPP Asia opposition. When you're Northern People's Party, first of all, or what NLM, if Samra no, this I forget. Samra no ni eni bono ni eni ahafo ni eni bono isi. Samra no nyina present day Asante no. Aya Western Asante so no. Ni nyina ya present day ebe na eye so wa wonim ene bono region. Bono is ahafo. No mo nyina ka Asante. So when NLM was formed, NLM was formed in 1954. Wow, to the Wadibua. NLM were Wuramu war or to send that Bono East and that Bono region and that Ahafo and that Ashanti and that some parts in Eastern region. So, what I say. Also, or hear me and Sana Wako Asore, Mr. Someda Wasepa. So, once again, Dr. Nkrumah and the CPP who say, Woman, Enya opposition tarry. And oppositioner, we shall not busy on Niamabi. One, the NLM opposition, na ye Kokwe Kuya Woman who say, you need to see people so obedi enhwamo. So the NLM no eye koko akuyafo wo ma bibi wo mo nsam. In the bono present day bono is present day ahafo, present day Asante, present day person Eastern region. And we cry present days abi. So the NLM no they are very, very strong. Now, another problem that Dr. Nkrumah faced here was from Volta region, present day Oti and Volta. And also another political group started. The LG Anto group and the Apollo group. They started. So, and also by 1956, it was a Herculean task for the CPP. You have the Gashipe few, Ebia Mampu now, so me. As also now can for also Dr. Nkrumah no more answer first election, Dr. Nkrumah won. I will at Abraka, be the man in a campaign man. But around 1954, nobody will say, Nshamo, Obedi Nshamo. And almost so. Then you have the Muslim Association Party. So by 1956, going for the 1956 elections, now opposition a bomb Dr. Nkrumah CPP who say yes, he said yeah. Bama nso boa kaso bo, nkase nso pam. And the demand process by 1954, 55, 56 were very strong. 57 were very strong with the Northern People's Party. The Dagatis, the Sisalas, the Mampusis, the Dagombes. By 1957, na CPP are more than Gonja and Kusasi Parakas. The Kasina, the Nankana, the Guruma, the Bimoba. Na CPP are more than Muhokas. Na CPP were more than, but the Mampusis the Nanumbas, the Dagombas, the Dagatis, the Wales, the Sasales, not CPP and CPP had a major stake over the Kusasis. Major stake over Kusasis. So you see that so you see that these are the dynamics, you know. I don't remember what BBB said. So after some time, you know, a committee was set up. But let's Mama Yerefi. Mama Enkai said it was not only the Mamprusi Kusasi area no kwana womote committee bi. In the Bepe region, no, the Nemate committee was also formed. Until no so yes, you are the economy. Mama, yes, Hong Kong. Yes, you are the economy. You don't say voter region so. And some by because some of the schools in voter region, especially the Bribia or more present day OT, were saying, no, first, only a voter region, people generalize it, voter region and law. Voter region and law. But in actual fact, no picture on this, a picture on this, because you have the Apesikobi, you have the Nchumuru, you have the Uraura, you have the Bebre, Liate, Bebre, Wamkrawunti, you know, so they are there. Paramount schools in OT region. So to generalize the whole then voter region as Anglo, Anglo Evers, that was also a problem. So a champon set up the Ajimambadu Commission of Inquiry. Nti muma ya nya se Mamprusi Kusasi no aye Hong Kong da bebre. Good, me da say. So now that committee, Kusasi Mamprusi committee, some will call the Boahen committee, some will call it the Boahen committee, some also will call it Ajimambadu committee. Whichever name you give it to it. Na beyede. Committee no ye ni hwehwe mu no ano. Na committee no recommended say as I said, Yama Boko and the cantons, that is the profit they use. Cantons, no. Maka the mayor ntiatia as a Boko nim kurobinum. Boko enim kurobinum. Sana mayama. Boko enim kurobinum. Now, why the Mamprusi for no peeped at that time was that na ye Pusika, Zebula, Garu, Tempane, Orakambo, Teshi, Ukrona Kobe Dwinsia. Benina Bia Dihinia Wama na Yiriwa, Obakwako, Swatcher Bokunaba, who Swatcher Bokunaba, or a Nayiri Nanamsini. Or a Nayiri Anamsini. And Seseno recommendation by the commission. Ebe free answer na. And I'm told the Mamprusis challenged it in court. And they didn't win, but they went ahead and they won. They went ahead and they won. So Akwakoya said the decision of the Ajimambadu, who was a member of the commission, was the late chief of Doma traditional area. And the same Ajimambadu, whose commission was set up in Volta region, commission of inquiry by Kutua Champon in 1973 or 74. Good. So the issue no say Mampusi for Nako court or Lusu I call wako appellate court wako winia. Then you are back to square one. Commission recommendations no. Emfa. That is where the law problem number. Then the CPP government under Dr. Nkrumah passed a law. And that law no Mampusi for no nyina wo mo de dan kro no so ebe na mane yehu no mo ntie ne ye pa oyi Mampusi a wo boko Yeremia ya fam na Yeremia ono de na Yeremia kra no wo mo ye law no say mo masia ha nti na Yeremia went to Burkina Faso. Now that ayina CPP yeah that CPPN effective Boko, effective Kulungungu, effective Garu, effective Tempani, effective Zebla, effective Teshi, effective Wargambu. No, about 16 towns. Then come Nkro Dunsia. Nkro Dunsia. So now the CPP at the ahemfo dunsia abedi nkuro dunsia so se dunan o dunumo se dunsia o dunwotwe CPP ade ahemfo abedi sa nkuro so. So before I proceed further, we are man proceeding, how will you feel? We are man proceeding, how will you feel? You see the situation because I men kasama mini side bia. I'm just being very cautious because of security implication. So let's be very honest. So yeah, man, Prusinia by 1960 about Obubefu, but we are Kusasinia by 1960 when the budget Kulumungu, Garu, Tempane, Zebula, Orakambo, we, Boko. In fact, while some are of the view say the Kulugugu incident today is 1962. A year, sir, you know, a buy. Some are also saying, say, but anytime in this submission, anytime I make a bokubiano, pe, men found si bokonqua, found si kubi. So it's like what? Singane. Now, in this contest, in this exercise, in this education, anytime I make a sunyane be I make a boko no, ufa sunyane bokoa. Meka epe abisim fiapri domase nsiatre mantukwa. No, so anytime I will mention boko, pe, wo sunyane ufa no sunyane a fa no sa nkuru. Anytime I will mention boko, who attachment to get a clearer picture, who attachment, Mecambo Qua, Fanset Tachimaya, Fan Ofuricrum, True Bodom, Tanoso, Agosan, Nsuta, Fanasa. So when Chiswa, anytime I make a boko pet. What a bokwa, don't restrict yourself to when chinkwa. Fano subenso, fano nwase, fano yoyano, fan beposo, fano akrubi, fanasa. So adisuadeɛ no sɛ wobɛnya picture no yɛ ntina mɛkyerɛ mo no nti wɔ ba bibia wo biara no meka bɔko no te bɔko a wote bɔko a mɛnyɛ kuro bɔko no nko a fa nkuro no a ɛwɔ ho. So fast forward, that is Dr. Nkrumah in short. So anytime you hear say Dr. Nkrumah can be for bɔko ho no nkuro na ka ho ka. Anytime a maka bibi for bɔko ho about analysis no bɔko afa sa nkuro no nyina ka. So anytime a wobɛte bɔko no fa garu tempane kulungungu zebila warkambo teshe abi sanisa. So that is the history going forward to make a proper appreciation. Now the problem we was so after the Kwame Nkrumah Omutu no 24 February 1966. Kwame Nkrumah Omutu 24 February 1966. And it wasn't only Boko. Sunyani Kwame Nkrumah Peja Sunyani Bayana Mangene. It wasn't only Boko. Kwame Nkrumah ye baby bebre. In fact, offensive. Kwame Nkrumah di CPP ni bashe ho. Mampong o de bashe ho. Bechem kukuom nkro bebre. Na esan se nipa bebre ensua de nipa bebre enim ntino. With this program I'm starting here about a year or 2 years ago. Me who said the idea your ignorance. The idea your ignorance. Ignorance, illiteracy. And perhaps, Mr. Ramon, stupidity. Ignorance, illiteracy, and stupidity. Why stupidity? Because I'm not cramming and worker saying, Obia Sunday saying to workers as say, Sikaba and sign aquaje ya workers as. If it is not stupidity, why? Because me tell baby na me addition there. I'm giving education. So you see, only the ignorance, stupidity. Sorry for my choice of words, but I think apt to refer to those people as stupidity. Me kasa do paya nipa bebre alle won maso pi wo metie nyina bebre sua bibia fim. But a network dear yes ada sorry na ngambi maya na ya davia gabi maya ngambi maya dia wajin. That is all. So thank you, so Simami. But I don't know if I'm so being cabin and Yenipa. Now, 24 February 1966, Kunaba, Kutukanu Ku. Because it was Kutuka, because Kutuka by April 1967. Ntimin kokana, makaki, Sebia better see, Menkan Kutukani Fifa, any deku, any Harry Nunku. Nti so kan de kununku are fine. Kotokanku are fine. Afrifanku are fine. Now, ku number. Just say this here. NLC also passed a decree. And that NLC decree 112. And say, or hit bia Kwame Nkrumah di usi subia. Or hit bia Kwame Nkrumah di usi subia. Sane hwane ba fam. no hene bia kwa me nkroma e ma ba fam no sane bra wakonya so ba chomo santie de bio the analysis decree 112 no eye say ohene bia kwa me nkroma de ba fam no ohene bia kwa me nkroma de ba fam bia kon ko di wakonya no hene bia so akwa me nkoma CPP government kwa me nkoma maudi akonya sane hwane brafo so sunyane being a paramount student asana by because sunyane was then on the odomas sunyane ye kurintiri of odomas number 2 nipa bebre it affected more than 4 to 5. In fact it affected Chebi. It affected Chebi. So Oforiata etimi ba Chebi. Oforiata achiba bwakwa. Utimba Chebi. Because before the passage of NLC Decree 112, no, Kwame Nkrumah banning Oforiata from Chebi. CPP are banning from Chebi. So once again, ye move on, ye can NLC Decree 112 no. Mama ya gene nya say boko mampusi kusasi nko a. Mam David Ghana hababi bebre. So Alaji Yeremia was say no papa na Yeremia no opportunity gave them you're okay. Offense or when she was affected by the CPP, and the man and I'm already there too by in 1958. So after the 1966 coup, Nana Kusi came back to occupy the Wenchi Akunya. So once again, so we what's here no do much qua. NLC Decree 112 no didn't affect only Boko. It didn't affect only Boko. Ghana have a baby. And like I said, and now no per wood here. Menkasama Mampusi, Menkasama Kusasi, Menkasama MPP, Menkasama CPP, Menkasama Bia, Menkasama Christopher, Menkasama Kramufo, Nature Bacos in assets. Wa sani usi hunu no fa wa gena no fa sani usi hunu no fa draw your own conclusion now so omasa na be dia kunya omasa scenario no pi ni ehu pa isinungua aza bokono eye so many times on na ma nipa ni nyina agnos scenario no bi ni ehu pa enungua ni odaiku CPP affected na konya die nungua NLC Decree 112 by no ebeye in fact year 68 kura de omoje ni ayiku nungwa mancha no den nungwa mancha no omoje na konya ho niema na konya bibibia ye bia no omoje edema the district commissioner na owo Accra. So if you look at year 68 no ede nungwa ekoma the district commissioner and the year 68 was signed by Oforiata. It was signed by Oforiata, who was then the Minister for Interior. Good. So let's go back again. So NLC Decree 112 restored all of them. Baby. But it affected one fear also. Kwasiasu, well then one fear kwasiasu. It was show better than CPCR. It was after the passage of NLC decree 112 na kwasi ansu esan call wa fi baby bebre in future people write a lot of books about that now. So NLC by also NLC so wabetu kusasi fu ahemfu ni nyina, but NLC there just said that wa CPP do buy bia no sano ko wachi wa CPP ma ko wachi sambram, and this NLC decree 112 also affected Boko, Garu, Kulungungu, Tempane, Zebila, Warkambo, Teshi, God, so many. So NLC a better store. Now, after NLC, Dr. Buzia by no one shut that amfa no one me wura sa hinsi no me Ghana ha no sa. Then a champion by so they didn't know who be. So that is also another problem. Dr. Hilary man by from Sisala, one fan one good. A very perfect gentleman. He kept us quiet. The problem is some Barbara. Problem number in 1983 with the PNDC. Why me make a problem? Obiso beka say any problem. Me make a say problem. Obiso say any problem. Rollins yes or yeah. Rollins passed a law, PNDC law 75, 75. I think it was passed in February 1983. Now, and Rollins was specific with this law. Okay, also so by what was that? CPP by Jim Kunyano, main kind of skins. CPP by J skins no am for Boko, Garu, Timpani, Kungungu, Zebila, Warikambo, Teshi, Sam. And analysis so a buy no, on so bapam woman, no so affected Sam Kuru. And I run is so also the 75 for no buy no, also affected Sam Kuru. Asamaba Boko yoko yakano. So when ya the background no nkura kwame nkuma ye mrama na affecte ahemfo analysis ba ye mrama no affecte ahemfo second one, then Rollins abaya mrama na affecte ahemfo third one. Anti PNDC law and no Rollins in no mind idiom on your mom. No, the NLC dia no dia obobo ayemfo na wo mo wa kwa me nkoroma tu wo no. Na NLC bobo wo mo gini. Se mo ba no kwadwo nkofa kuruwi, kwadwo mfa kuruwi no digaru. Kwa bana fa wi tempane. Kwa kufa zebla. Ko fifa kulungungu. Kwa befa warikambo. Kwa sifa teshi. The NLC named them. So the PNDC also named them. The CPP named them. The NLC named them. The PNDC named them. So the last one in the PNDC, we in fact. And that explains why in 1983, Urban, you find a lot of the Kusasis being members of the PNDC. It is all person idea no. And you know, the PNDC, no, PNDC, no, a law not tare, say, simple court to be a simple war. Miss a bad dear. Tinton, welcome. So that PNDC law, wouldn't you be now coming up? More mobile TikTok, WhatsApp, you've been insulting. I'm the Munya Yamamu because Monty Munkani. Monty Munkani, not the Munkani, the answer about on the Odidia, Yamopia. But what my PNDC law 75. Let's go back to PNDC law 98 and PNDC law 99. Let's go back and join PNDC law, read PNDC law 98, PNDC law. PNDC law 98, you know. Yes, ting time. Ma Obia Ntanamboko, Garu, Timpane, Kulungungu, Zebila, Kronina, Susan Kurumese Pinsian. Mobia Ntana Ente Ku, say Kusa youth, Mamprusi youth, Busanga youth, Moshi youth, Dabi, Mo Pianti Ku. And the PNDC law 99 went on further to say, assassin o garu, timpane, boko, kulungungu nina, abana fa assassin nina, abana nebe kuta assassin, abana nebe sha assassin. So 75, 98, and 99. Akati for bebre wakwa ya nyapa ya 75. 75 kredi pa bebre mu ya bebre ntia. Bebre mu ya bebre ntia. Na pesa kampesa ko wie 98 and 99. Coming back to Nungwa also. Nungwa so if you look at the year 18. Now in Nungwa the man ye hu kra ya tsere the CPP time year in 68. Year in 68. But the PNDC time year in 18. The CPP time year in 68. But the PNDC year in 18. So you see that. So exactly what happened in Boko, the UP, the NLC, and the CPP, and the current day Boko issue, and when affected Nungwa. So Nungwa, they said, well, babe, can PNDC law just a what? Ubet cancer, new die. Na no, ukra automra. Okra automra. Yeah, I'm happy so Okaje be say who is forcing him to listen. I do have you say men san bia men west ni bi no ya na mwedru. I just am mwedru. Me come and some abadwemma na nyansafo etie. Abadwemma anyansafo nimdiafo betie. So no one tell me I want to so sometimes I say I should have been about to bon cost of one. I say I should have been to bon cost of one. Matured minds, intellectuals, academicians make a be free. Perhaps minimum crying, I want to PNDC law 75 for that. So that is the and no, we have a lot of these problems. If I even go to Tuobodom, the problem we are facing in Tuobodom now, but the Tuobodom was affected by the CPP, and Tuobodom analysis decree went to affected Tuobodom. That is the end. But in the entire Mambo couldn't be another say analysis Kwame Nkrumah did it. NLC did do one. And Rollins also tightened it. And na ma boko de no I so dicey, so delicate. You know, so dicey, so delicate. So, like I'm leaving it to you. Remember, sir, Obi Beka sir, Sadia, Adena, Mamprusi for no Uncle Court. Adena, Mamprusi for no Uncle Court. They are at liberty to go to court. They are at liberty. But you know, there's a Supreme Court decision. February 2010, I think 17 February 2010. And the title of the suit here, Me Odai Ayiku versus the Attorney General. And Wolekete. A very nice decision. In fact, any person who say, Mamprusi for Kokotoa, Ebeye ye ana enye ye no, I will not draw the conclusion. But if you can read and write, just go and look for 17th February 2010. And the title of the suit is New Odai Ayiku versus the Attorney General. And Wolekete, I'm saying, I don't know, I meant here. A very nice decision. Nice decision for us as lawyers or as practitioners or as historians. No? What is the effect of PNDC law? So walk court on that. So PNDC law now by yen or bokone. PNDC san you do if you got her. What will be the effect? Menka says, see a menka, my miamano. But two kunyabi na okania and a ebechero. So, Mestre, sir, when we are addressing the Boko issue, please, I'm sorry you're asking me this question. Can you give us 2 reasons why we should vote for Baumia? I'm sorry you're asking me this question. Perhaps if you are a stranger in Jerusalem, you know the issue we are discussing. Time no says Mecca. So that is the problem. When I say that is the problem, it's a very big problem. Imagine you have before a period be Oma Wamudi Boko Zebila Kulungungu Orekambu Teshi Garu Tempane Omunina will go and swear to the Boko Naba, who is a representative of the Nairi. Then the law comes, training in him, CPP, then Kusasi. So they no longer go to Nigeria. Then NLC decree ba also abetwam monko muamaba you go to Nigeria. Then PNDC aba or swasana betwam. If you are from that community, how will you feel? So I say what man pussy for us, I say what Kusasi for us, I say what Busanga for us. We should listen to them. Don't take sides. The issue no just a country and not two train. It's a very complex and delicate. You know? And some will be asking, well, who is Nairi? Nairi is the overlord of the Mampru. The overlord. Nairi. So if you ask who is the overlord. Now, the Mamprusi kingdom, I'll call it Mamprusi kingdom. More the minimum racha and say, Bianya king. Please, don't bring it here. He's the overlord of the Mamprugu kingdom. His kingdom stretches from Sankasi in Burkina Faso and Togo part of Togo, some cases in Togo, yeah, Togo, part in Burkina Faso. The Nairis kingdom, very big kingdom. Very big kingdom. Very big kingdom. And the Nairi, and the Yana, and the Bimbilana, and the Mosi Naba, they have one ancestry. The Nairi, Yana, Bimbilana, Mosi Naba, they have one ancestry. So because one ancestry, and I make you say, oh yeah, because someone Nairi, whether Mampugu was established by Nagbewa himself or by the children of Nagbewa, whether Mosi was established by Nagbewa himself or the children of Nagbewa, that bomb. Nagbewa himself or the children of Nagbewa. No, no. Benina, Begitum said, Mampusini, Mosini, the Gombani, and then the Numbani, woman in Agi, Somna, and Nagbewa. Woman and Nagbewa. The Benina, Begitum said, Nagbewa, Amam Fonso, any Pusika. Nagbewa Manfonso and the Pusika. And Posiga also was affected by the CPP government directives, you know. And Pusiga was affected by NLC. And Pusiga was affected by PNDC law 75. See how delicate the whole thing is. It's very delicate. So, Nanumba, Pusiga, Nanumba, Dagomba, Mosi, Womana Nanaman Fonsono. As we are talking today is in the control, in the hands of Kusasi. So I leave it to Namika said, the Nairi land, so the whole region in Ghana, region Bako, but the Nairi. Northeast region, Nairi. And Nairi goes to the regional House of Chiefs with 6 paramount chiefs. So, when say Nairi yakese, and then Nairi yaketwa, fatoto among him ewo saf no yaha. Saf hanyina no. Man in bien you are oko regional house. Or they are man in biko. And that is the only Asante. You go to Volta region, you go to Oti region, you go to Eastern region, you go to Western region, you go to Western North, you go to the Bono region, you go to the Bono East. Man in be am fam man in house meeting. But Nairi din siako. Nyamina mekiro wa wutie me wo krom hene ane Nairi me kan wa draw the conclusion. Nairi oko regional house of chiefs anya atenan konya but me kan man hene apart from that o wa atenan konya ka ho Nairi goes with 6 paramount chiefs and at least about 5 sub skins what they call. So my yiri ko no call regional house of chiefs. Na yiri ko amman hene nsia kana ho. Na me krom doma se or call regional house no nko akwa. Do you think what in Nigeria got to me krom doma se ho? People will not read. People will not. It's like young man call the regional house of chiefs or the amman hene Doom konon. Tienye, wherever you are, whoever you are, wherever you come from. Ya na aka se meko regional house wo Tamale. Okono amanhene dum kono amanhene me domase number 1 ye manhene 1 domase number 2 ye manhene 1 ya na ekwa odi dum kono du kono na ekọ. So do you think that oh so hina wo kwa onko alcohol oh ni ya na epe. I leave it to you. Ya bonra ekọ asa 1 ya bonra no ya the man in ya de yin nyina ma ya bonra 1 region Savannah region. He is the president. Kopim se Yesu beba. O kon of region no so a eye ya na ene ni nua bibula na be mienu be roteti ya na nua bimbila na nia ya na be mienu ko be roteti and the bimbila na the number okwa ono so kuta manyene about 3 or 4 dinachi no I don't cry 5 or 6 muntie ni ye pa here education nyandage tie no pa no botinko Yana called regional house of chiefs meeting. And yet occupant of soft skills. Paramount chiefs 19. Na number or qua paramount chiefs 6. Tell me which chief bank and then what is still regional. All call house of chiefs are. Bakukura can. I'll come to that. Bilim ko or hene kwawu ilokrobo omuko ba womo ahemfo na wom de womuko no ye substitutes. Yeah, I agree. Wom de ahemfo ko. Kotoku di biko, bosome di biko. Substitutes. But yana 19. Yabongra about 16. Paramount chiefs. Na number 6. 6. Bokunaba. Now he goes with about 10 or so. Paramount chiefs. So, substitutes. Yeah, substitutes, sorry. Sorry for using stools. Me pa macho. Yeah, Miss Ramo. Stool, no. Soft skills, Miss Ramo. Soft skills. Bokunaba. Soft skills. So, ya na and also so. And their paramount skills. Na yiri dia paramount skills. Ya bon run ya paramount skills. Okwa manhene. And no, people will not sit down, study, and learn. Hey, say, na 70. Say, na 70. If you go to the whole Greater Accra, I am for no beer, whether it is Gan, whether it's Nungwa, whether it's Teshi, whether it's La, whether it's Tama, Bikaon, or if you go to Pram, whether it's Nkamahinna kanya obi akwa mramma no kwane mane mfa manhene bi nka no ho omfa manhene bi anka no ho ba ya na de akwa manhene dunkono ya bonwure kwa amanhene dunsia na number kwa amanhene kirepone ne na yiri nko na omo ewureni northeast. But northeast is for the Nairi. Tinton. When you be wa Ghana ha actual sabi be with that. The whole country Ghana. When you be our amount this education power. And you know the Yana while the Yana overrides 19 paramount chiefs. While the Yabongra controls 16 paramount chiefs, whilst the Nanumba controls about 6 paramount chiefs, The Nairi also controls, yeah, I've said Nairi. Okay, Nairi also controls precise over paramount chiefs. Paramount chiefs. In the whole Greater Accra, no paramount chief goes to the with another paramount chief. In the whole Western region, no paramount chief goes to the meeting with a paramount chief. In the whole Central region, no paramount chief. In the whole Volta region, no paramount chief goes to the meeting with a paramount chief. In the whole Oti region, no paramount chief goes to the meeting with a paramount chief. In the whole Bono region, no paramount chief goes to the meeting with a paramount chief. In the whole Bono East, no paramount chief goes to the meeting with a paramount chief. In the whole Western North, no paramount chief goes to the meeting with a paramount chief. That is the position of the law now. I mean, there should be a catch and say, Nana, thank you for your insight. That is it. But Yemen America, Yemen am covered by media edition, the enemy Yama Money. But in the Ashanti region, the tomb for overrides about 70 the Santaman Council when the Santaman Council says. The tomb for overrides about 70 chiefs. You know, in the Ashanti region alone, you have about 40 something paramount chiefs. In the Hafu alone, you have 13 paramount chiefs. So 40 something plus 13. Or the Kabomuya. Then you go to the Eastern region, you go to the Oti region, you go to the Bono, you go to the Bridgefaka. So while the Yabongra has 16 paramount chiefs under him, while the Yana has 19 paramount chiefs under him, the two for us almost 70 paramount chiefs under him. The Nandumba has 6 paramount chiefs under him. Metiana Mekao, and it's very sad, very painful, sir. When you are taking people through all this, then you have a network. It's a bit disturbing, you know. Because why would tell me that you can be a lecturer in history, a lecturer in philosophy, a lecturer in law? You admit science say won't take that. And you have the answer lines in proper examination of LI 2409, which was gazetted in 1st July 2020. But I shall be sure I'm taking notes until we move on. Mammy, maybe or Douglas. Or say me taking notes. But I make a catch. Obisho or Berlin. Oh, good. Obikra Boahen, I say about Radio 21. Thank you. But my brother, try and reconcile because I looked at LI 2409 and 21. Because Yana will be changed Yabongra. And I'm saying that Yana is 19, Yabongra is 16. Yana is 19, Yabongra is 16. But the whole country Ghana, Utu Otufua, ni ono wa amanyene menka soft skins soft tissue. Utu Otufua, ni owo pa na so ane Yana. The whole country Ghana. And then the next one will be Yabongra. Ebele yo says number nsia. Chere ponisu will be. Chere ponisu will be, yes. But woman no dey and so but that then woman will be there. And then he goes there with so yes LI 249 no my Yana as the permanent president. And Kababia won better no Northern regions of Chibia Yana be winning because no aman hina chena say 19 Ababia won better no or Savannah region Yabongra be winning. Me I'm saying it's 16. But my brother anya be na me gina me etwa. Maybe the mirror is 16. Also say 21. But good, we are good. At least why are better? Ababia, so that is what. And no, another incident for us to learn. If you take the northern region, yana no na no ene na numba no a. There are some group of people are wamutiti hobia. Actually, they are not Nanumba and I for 16 no paramount chiefs. There are some people in Savannah. Wamunye gonja for Mo. You will get more in the Borno East region. You will get more in the Savannah region. You will get more in the Borno Nanakwa Kudankwa more. Oba Borno East Regional House of Chiefs. Sana Koro Bamboy Jama Professor Noah Kali Noah, who is a professor and who is a chief. Almost they attend meetings at Savannah. So more is so big, more so. So if which of course can be possible, say more for you na benya hene bako. More for you na etiminya hene bako. Because the Koro of Jama or the Koro of Bamboy, no, it's not on the Jama. Jama is not on the Bamboy. But they are brothers. Jama and Bamboy, they are brothers. So also they will say, Ketabo, Nanakwa Kudankwa, they are brothers. But Nanakwa Kudankwa is a paramount chief. Yeah. Koro of Bamboy also is a paramount chief here. And Jama also, yeah, a paramount chief. So you see how delicate the water. It needs education. It needs attention. Matured minds must be talking on this topic. This topic is not for matured minds. But I've met a lawyer who said, yeah, minim said, and the 1960s now, two new die few nungwan. In fact, your science was the government then. See, because if you look at that Supreme Court decision, what you want some, and then if you look at EI 68, what you want some, that's good. Now, what has happened? And Obiri Boahen Okasi Nungwa from competition. Well, I base it on the LI 2409 of 1st July 2020. You see, 1st July 2020. 1st July 2020 says that Nungwa ya di Nungwa, Teshi di Teshi, La ya La, Osu yo Osu, Tema ya Tema, Ga ya Ga. If you look at the law, it makes it Ga simple. So, nyami Obiri Boahen na michi che muma enkran for no. And but when you obukum kratini, ni obukum na meka na mehwe na mihu na meka. I agree. EI 68 talks of the government exercising role over the Nungwa. I agree. That was in the 1960s. I agree. But I'm talking about the LI 2409 1st July 2020. So going forward, the Boko Momprisi Kusasi matter is not so simple at all. That's when they say, men are making out say, way by year, way by, and a way by, and a way by. So somebody also has sent a message said, now then a constitution by, you know, a man, Rollins, PNDC law 75, and that's a year, Juma. PNDC law 78, PNDC law 98, PNDC law 99, 75, 98, 99. Nina a year Juma. Because the transitional provisions in the 1992 Constitution are outside the jurisdiction of the courts over PNDC laws. It is not fair. So PNDC law be our passy be a tin time. It is not fair. But that is the law in Ghana now. It is not fair. But that is the law in Ghana now. So you are bound by it, I am bound by it. The judge is bound by it, the software is bound by it. Everybody. Everybody. You are all bound by it. Hey, yeah. I will hope. Hey, yeah. And so there. I am. So I'm grateful, sir. When you are me, boko, mampusi issue, mama education, no, mama ako. The meteor, many delicate. Men can say more, na more. MPP for her, and DC for her. The men can be. But I've given you background, and you know, Volta region also had a lot of problems like that. And I think that we must congratulate and say the MPP for us. Because Nana say, yeah, me ache, me bientiminka, me bientimia, me the maye. Was so because they like 249. So agitation when I tell you on yeah, what we name history no you know. You think that those days in Volta region in I and not West. So we need Volta region. Oh, Volta region there you have that knowledge. But we need Volta region now we know can say. Oh, can when a casa be so young when I mean. Oh yeah, but you know in Volta region it is the only region in Ghana now you have 100 paramount chiefs. Do, sir, 100 paramount chiefs. It is the only region in Ghana now that we have 100 paramount chiefs. Volta region. And people before I had their pastor, oh my dear sir, nka problems be the woman creating Yamaha. The only region. So now we have the number of paramount chiefs in Volta region. You have the whole of Ahafo, the whole of Bron, the whole of Bron East, and perhaps you have the whole of a central region, or Kambomwa, in the Volta region. In Volta region 100. And the MPP, yeah, there, we must streamline now. If you enter the OT region, the Apesukobi, one paramancy, Nchumuru, one paramancy, Urawa, one paramancy, and we one paramancy. They seize the bull by the horn. That one will be a law and history, no? That one, you say, look, MPP for you. Because if you take the Mampusi Kusasi, the part of the brave refuge. The part of the brave refuge. Go back and look at the LI 2409 of 1st July 2020. Go back. And then don't take the recommendation by Otumfuo Santene. Otumfuo Santene recommendation. Fatu the LI 2409. Fatu. So, for me, Otumfuo was just re-echoing and rehashing the provisions contained in the LI 2409. That was all for me. He was rehashing, he was re-echoing. Because 2409, no, asana timiyama the bokuna banu. Or kwa onunko or soft skins bi wo no mo a oyi bi ka ho enye paramount skins eye soft skins or kwa otimi yibe se num ka ho de ko ti se kwawu kwa onu so timi yi num kwawu kwa original house of chiefs a oyi num anasa nson de ko achima bo kwa nko yi dum yenu achima bo kwa okwa oyi dum yenu kan ne ho substitutes dumienu kan ho de kowura ho kwa wukuta mse nkono kotoku kuta mienu bosome so kuta mienu. Now even coming back to Achimabuakwa kwawu kotoku bosome and some stools. If you go to the whole of central region, or if you look at the law, in western region, or but I didn't make that law. I am giving education for people to understand. Matured minds would appreciate it. But networks or think that you are creating confusion. Because I don't need to wait in America. No, I don't need to ni nyansa ni nimdia ni so ntia ye na adwunim ye na onya educated one to say me madam for Evans or London na otie Evans knows the import of it. So I think this is a very interesting lecture, very interesting thing. But my point of correction be last week because said minim say me kan ora dey na say bia no kan wontumi. Me ka say tafo hin tam nwa. I think that me source no na ye nwa na nwa nka perhaps minim twi ni ye dey. Ka say ye NNDW nwa. But omo ye no NNW nwa. So yes, they agree say nwani dwa no ohwe no wanya pronunciation a bia me twi no na mentimi pronounce ne ya. Na omo say nana ademai akotonu kwa mindful no koye no. According to the Tafu people, kwa mindful no buy no kwa mindful de wom troops no buy no. Na ademai kotawu to omba take wom na ademai kotawu so they attack them. Na msa ademai kotawu so na okon ya de pa anti kwa mindful no dwan wom dwa ehwese na koma na yitu. It has happened before. The Dutch Badubonsu Dutch no wamo defeat Badubonsu no in 1890 something. Wamo di Badubonsu ti ko Holland. Sa hene no no nim ngoma pa. Nti yankwohwe nti. Na Dutch no wamo di Badubonsu ti na ba 37 sisia. So Tafo de no wamo gitum say but the Tafo people are saying so. Kwa manfo no ba no wamo bo ane yehene na wunti anka nyesa nka ode kwaman several times odifiti kwaman but the kwaman people are saying so oboa ekoto that is but that's the point of correction. Tafo hene nan tam no eye nwa ka tafo hene tam eye. Then another I say a raura for beside war Manshia on Monday 15 December 2025. And somebody gave me a question yesterday. That was one to me. I think I'm using this opportunity to the Rara people history hasn't that normal tree. Kuntana say. And there was a problem. Woman in a barco, I say, or my poison be, coffee, be, and some buyer. So problem no mutuye. So mutuye na mutantra kwemu. But baby on Cotton was Obiri near the botanical gardens. They stayed there for 40 years. And sada mutu akonkonya. Omukonkonya so and say be by na mutu by the present day rawa. So yes, the present day rawa in Kuntana Sefo. And perhaps no one that said 15th December 2025 from research. It's no wonder. I mean, it's no wonder. It doesn't change anything. That is that. Thank you from watching from Canada. It doesn't change anything. So also became 15th December 2025 became so beside the became your friend as he was too became free sweeter before being your friend before on an in and they settled when you once and at your uncle I bet she say became no original name no I bet she say. And later it was changed to Bechem because when the Ashantis no call war, or Moba, no Mabecheniama war. Adinkra war on Becheniama, every more war on Becheniama. And then I'm Bechem, your friend Bechem, the Bechem. But Bechem, or Mom Chichil Bechem, Mom Chichile, Tanoso. Tanoso near Abyssine. Or Mom Chichil Bechem. So Tanoso ye Bechem for the year. So the very day na became beside and Sadanana or as a historian and a lawyer, we say, oh, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. Obi free baby, no be cover. I don't say you'll be answer. Huh? Obi free baby, no be cover. I don't say you'll be answer. Every young of here, no quack with such a name. Do you have to talk? I know why I'm saying myself. I awesome. Huh? I awesome. So what exactly is your problem? So right from what you start to 2 number change from what exactly is your problem? What problem is it? Huh? So you see the brain, you know. So when people are informed, when the people are highly educated. When people are informed, when people are highly educated, because who finish who crom domase number 1, you know, only Yabonga Yapana. David, and you think that I should call Yabonga Paramount Chief when he goes to the regional House of Chiefs with 16 Paramount Chiefs? Then you are saying call the Yabonga a Paramount Chief, and call the Paramount Chief of Domase also a Paramount Chief. And you are saying that Obiri Boahen just call Yana Paramount Chief. When he goes to the regional House of Chiefs with 19 Paramount Chiefs, 19 Dunkong. And you think that when the Nigerian goes to the regional House of Chiefs with about 6 Paramount Chiefs, 6 in Siena. And you think that the paramount chief of your town, the paramount chief of your area is like the Nairi. And when I said that Nairi is a king, Yana is a king, Yabonga is a king, Otumfo is a king, and no Obiri Boahen, the Jim Dodo. I mean, why does the Jimmy? If you think that the paramount chief of Odomasi number 1, or paramount chief of Odomasi number 2, or the paramount chief of Brekum, or the paramount chief of Shatra is equal to Yana, or Yabonga, or 2-4. So I was some. But because you are if you are matured mind, you say, hey, no, Yabonga, or qua, a man you do me and say, Bupe Rakan, Bolle can, what's it, I can. I mean, man you do me and say. Ya na kwa amanyere dunkuru na yiri kwa amanyere nsia amanyere maybe crop domase no ya 1 number 1 ya 1 number 2 ya 1 2 no ya na kwa dunkuru se dunkuru no na wonti amenka 19. Go and look at the landmark of the land size of the Yabonga, the Yana and the Nairi. And then that's a thing. Because woman says, Asante Nairi, Yabonga, Yana. Because woman says, in Ghana's population, minimum extent to be educated. The Goba phone will be about better or 4 million. What is 30 million? Number 1. The Goba phone will be about. Check the number that Nairi again. I'm sure. Small. Okay, but I say okay, for me can see ampo. Me can see no. Obi see am more. Me da say mpo. Me can see no kra na yiri no kra dia. But no na yiri kra no can offer no yeah. The soft skills. And you think that looking at this country now, the Gomba from Kwankuta population of about 4 million. Mpo and 4 million woman no that soropa no ya na no. And you think that hene bia ye hene and therefore constitution ka paramount chief who ye paramount chief amate you take it. You know the Yabon run paramount chiefs on the land size correct that gonja correct on land size. Correct yana correct na yiri. Yana cast up to Togo. Na yiri cast Togo and Burkina Faso. Minka say he be was so be. Me the education I made them. But it is quite disheartening, no, and ironic. When you begin to talk the truth, you speak the truth, then somebody says somewhere, and a network will be just be insulting you. Yeah, somebody has asked that why Water region has 100 paramount chiefs. Why Water region has 100 paramount chiefs? Because the LI 249 says Water region 100. That's all. That is all. That is all. Water region 100 paramount chiefs. Madam, I say, I go Pomboa next week, even though you bring her, there's a possibility of Bishia. And she had the, but I'll make sure because it should be consistent. 28 the Krana Butcher food be Musha the name. And Casa and Nipa be. So the Mamprusi Kusasi, Mama, we should all tone down. Your church will be Munyanto was here. Your church will be Munyanto was here. Let's tone down. Yeah, let's tone down. So, one tone down, tension is very high. Tension is very high. It will be by some castle will be about mature the causes. Ababwa, Kusasi need tone down, Mampusi need tone down. But in baby, Minkabi. That is all. Madame Munina said, Mechia will be a Quapia Belgium, Mechia Kofia Ponsan, Germany. Anopoku Walker. Germany, George, Belgium. Nipa dia bebre Kofi Amponsan George no mu apia o munyinom de o mato no wabruki nyina. Me chia mu nyina. We will continue to educate. We will continue to we will continue to educate. We will continue to entertain. We will continue to advise people. But we need to be extra careful. Chieftaincy is not just chieftaincy problems all over. But Yaba could be a hunter. We are in court now. Takurade, Esha hunter henasi. Takurade, Esha hunter henasi. And let Takurade akose yenye no man hene. Muamuntieni. Takurade, Esha hunter se. Takurade, ako national house say yenye no man hene. Now, why would you, wherever you come from? Imagine, say, oh, man, and you or na kurubi a few. Say, for instance, Domase, Quatre, Bar National, say, a mon man. And I tasso, and I'm the Bar National, say, a modern man. I offer number one, and I'm number two. How will you feel? And now, Sunyani, you was Sunyani. Now, Memphis say, Croatia, no matter regional, say, a mon man. Look at the scenario. Look at the scenario. Takura diaba say mon man hene. Na nya me na me de ko courtwa. Hwene yete ho wo Ghana. Takura de no is under a hunter. And so about national person or recommending your bon man hene. And when we have all these things, you are close to 30th January. When we are going through all these things and somebody thinks that why are you so much into? I'm interested in chieftaincy because I love chieftaincy. I do a lot of cases involving chieftaincy. I do a lot of cases involving land. I do a lot of cases. Me obi ni bia ko ware eja wade e ma no ntan hia me. Obi ye yamfa injunction to so na me ntan hia me. When you do a lot of chieftaincy cases, when you do a lot of land cases. Unya nimdie nya addition papa. That is why me interest wo. Obi super crime. Oh, yachi we have to we yakokum nipa, we yakobo kro no ya na ko o se fami. Even there's nothing wrong. Me mpe ho. Me mpe ho. Me da say, I say some Ghanaians don't want to learn. Me da say pa. Me mpe ho. So the chieftaincy all over the country. There can't be any single area with the chieftaincy shuba. Me no wonka. Masada. Saudi Arabia. Because I've done a good number of chieftaincy cases. And I've done a good number of land cases. Until by now, we catch them and say, Adwajiri. I was a chima boaka for the brain in Yagane, but me say Adwajiri. And yet, Achima Boaquadia, Adwajiri, Achim Kutuku. But the good news is that Achima Boaquan in one Yagan only water. That is why sometimes I'm happy when I'm dealing with something. Make us Adwajiri, nya Achima Boaquadia, Adwajiri, Achim Kutuku. Achima Boaquan in any water. That they will not. They will not. They also stated, sir, there be bois and Yakotoku Kudia, a Yachima Boaquadia. And also the first and figures or the history, Baba. But elsewhere, you say something, yay, Wajim, why is that make us a Yachimi, but me say, a Dwajiri, a Chima Boaquadia. But Achima Boaquan in this say, a Dwajiri. Media. No insult. No insult. The Achim Buakwa would never insult. I've been consistent, sir. Do a gilly, kutukudia. Achim Buakwa for so have been consistent, sir. Buakwadia. Yes, you are called to Denny. Yes, you ever be a mechanic. Woman, you matter with that. Woman, for any TikTok. Any matter with that. Baby, dear. Mean can. So it doesn't make the education no. Look, last week, I changed here what two. Why didn't I quite every church? Oh, maybe be a ability and a month in I will prefer meeting you in court instead on sort. No, correct. We know what we share. We know a change for this National House. Well, we name at them. Achim for beer was a chimney biaba TikTok, I'll be a TikTok, did you Obiri Boahen tender? Achim about when you be anyhow. The best shaman no more. On the would you know, they will not insult you. Last week, I changed the car, said, Waji, Chichire, and Akunya Efrin some. Now, the baby Sam, Mr. Well, watching is right. Why? Chichire by history and tradition that a Shachima Boakwasi. A Shachima Boakwasi. And therefore, Chichire Hinana Kwaji Gazette. Gazette no Gian, or Paramount to know Aquaka and Equapim. You've denied your landlord. You've denied your overlord, authority. So in law, what is the implication? The implication is that automatic. You cease to be the chief. Last week, yeah. I said, if I'm one here, I said, I am a waffle, man, so may you have floor. And I think I agree with Osage from Muntia. Baby, I was some, no one I was some. Baby, I was some, a one also. So, Uncle Gazette. Because of Gazette, what could you say, war? But won't you any I change and I say, me what for say any equipment. And so, my dear Kunyam. And he's right. Won't you I say me what for say? Me what for say? And so, my dear. And he's right. in history and in chieftaincy. That is the thing. Ɔsɛ me wɔfa ase ɛne akuapem. Ampanyina mpa so. Akyima buakwa. Yɛfrɛ no ofopanyin. Akuapem yɛfrɛ no oforikuma. The Abutachi Accord of 1733. The Abutachi Accord of 1733. Where we need no. 18 wɔfa ase no pɛpɛpɛ. But ɔsɛ masase I will have all the akoshe no offers. Majima Kunya, and it's right. And it's right. So if you want to know, because you've denied your overlord, an authority over you. Madam Sibebre, Michelle will be a fish yapa. I will say Akosom boy is Eastern region. Please educate us with history. I will educate you one day. Akosom body meaning pa come from by when they cross the river to Akosombo, Apisukubo, Apigusu, I will lecture you one day. Akosombo, Francadia, Apisukubo, I will lecture you there. I know the history of Akosombo. Madam Ase,